Hey friends, my name is Ravi and welcome to the It's Not That Serious podcast. Learn and grow with me as I'm just another 20-something finding who I am. On this journey of self-love and betterment, I take my experiences and topics to inspire growth, change, and overall self-satisfaction. Hello! Good morning, or whenever you're listening to this, it's morning to me. I kind of just woke up. So, if you couldn't tell by the quality of the audio, it sounds so much better, or so I hope. Thanks, big bro, for giving me a microphone, and I'm so excited about it. Hi, y'all. I'm so sorry. Real quickly, this is post-editing Ravi, interrupting your scheduled programming. So as I was saying, I got a new microphone. I wanted to make the audio sound nice and crisp and clean, but because I'm still figuring that out, I might have messed things up while editing it on my computer, and I realized that after hours of messing with it, and I don't want to redo it. So if there's a lot of fluctuation in volume, I'm so sorry. Ignore it. All right. Anyway, today's episode, I want to talk about how your relationship with yourself bleeds into all the relationships you have, whether that's platonic relationships, friendships, or romantic relationships. And I'm also going to talk about breakups, because that stuff's fun to talk about, heartbreak and pain. So the last month or month and a half, I've spent so much time with myself, and I've been doing so much self-reflecting. I'm already a pretty self-reflective person as is, but I recently moved back in with my parents, and I was just adjusting to being back home after not living with them because I was away for school, and then after I graduated, I was working, and then, rent be expensive, so I moved back with them. And so that adjustment was so hard in the beginning. The first few weeks I was with them, I would say I felt bleh. I don't know what words to describe it, but bleh was just how I felt. I love my parents to death. It was just that fact that I was home. I'm adjusted now. We're good. But moving back, I was doing so much. I was rearranging my room because the room I had was bright blue and bright purple. And that was painted back when I was in middle school. And now that I'm a college graduate, those colors just do not suit me. So I spent a lot of time painting and cleaning, and I had to go through all the other rooms, which had a bunch of me and my siblings stuff from middle school, high school. So it was just a lot, and that was draining. But I'm so grateful that's all done and over with, because I feel so refreshed and everything's clean. You know that feeling when you deep clean stuff and you just go take a nice shower and then you're done, you just bask in the cleanliness? Yeah. And then after that feeling of bleh, I started making those connections again. I started reaching out to my old friends, old family members. And from there, I started making connections with more people, and it started just branching out. And I have been doing a lot of self-growth, going to yoga twice a week. I tried Pilates for the first time. I went to the chiropractor for the first time yesterday, and oh my God, I was so scared that they were going to break my neck. I've always been scared of that, but no, my doctor was so freaking sweet, and I felt like a new person. First of all, I felt like I grew an inch or two, and I felt so relaxed, and she cracked me in places that I didn't even know could be cracked. Like, she cracked my neck, and I was like, whoa, I'm alive. But after doing all of this for the past month and a half, I definitely feel a lot better. I feel like myself. I've definitely adjusted to being back home. I was feeling a little bit lost. If you were listening to my other podcast, the one that's literally called Am I Lost or something like that? I don't even know my own podcast names. It doesn't matter. But yeah, if you listened to that episode, then you would know I was feeling really confused with my path at the time. And then I thought I had it all figured out, and I moved back, and then I kind of had it back, where I was like, okay, I'm here. This was the step, but all the things that I was planning on doing kind of switched. And so the plans I had fell through. And so I had to readjust again. So that was also part of the whole thing. So a lot was going on. But now I found that sense of direction again. Every day I've been working on all the goals and tasks that I have for myself. I definitely feel like I found my sense of purpose. But who knows, that might change again, and then I'm just gonna have to adjust again, but that's all part of life. As of right now though, I'm very confident and very happy with where I'm at, and I'm strengthening a lot of the relationships I have around me and the one with myself. Speaking of strengthening that relationship I have with myself, I'm going to talk about that in this episode. And so that leads me to wanting to ask you guys, have you ever had a friendship or a relationship where you felt like, okay, this is my person, this is my soulmate. I just feel the connection with them and they were definitely meant to be in my life. Or even the opposite, where you just don't click with the person because maybe the personalities are too clashing or you just straight up dislike them. What if I told you that this all stems from the relationship you have with yourself? Every relationship, every friendship, all have something to do with the way you view yourself. And loving yourself before loving anyone else is not some cheesy quote you hear all the time. How you view yourself is projected onto others. What I mean by that is you have your closest friends, or just friends, and you view them as so because you see aspects of yourself that you like and strongly identify with within them. Every relationship and friendship you have with somebody brings out something that's already within you. So all these feelings, all these character traits that you already have in yourself, that's all amplified and just reflected in your relationships. That's why breakups or friendship fallouts hurt so bad sometimes. It's because you heavily identify with that person due to all the similarities you have with them. Because you see so much of yourself that you favor the most in that person, you pretty much see a better version or a more favorable version of you in them. Unconsciously, you're kind of giving them a lot of power here. And that's why with these breakups or friendship fallouts, it feels so painful. Not because you lost them, but because you feel like you lost that part of yourself. And if you think about it, you usually dislike and like the same type of people. And at that point, I saw this TikTok. I thought it was so cool. It said, it's not that you have a type, but you have a pattern. I'm gonna say that again so it clicks. It's not that you have a type, you have a pattern. Okay, I know I make a lot of TikTok references. I'm Gen Z, okay? I'm a Tide Pod. That's where I get a lot of my inspiration or ideas from. My creative juices start flowing. So what about it? Also, if you don't follow me on TikTok, it's Ravi Bartolo. Follow me, don't follow me. I post a lot of dances on there for funsies. Anyway, but yeah, like, if you think about it, that quote that you have a pattern, think about all the people you've ever dated. They're all different people, but they're all similar in some way. Like maybe you attract people who aren't considerate or the most respectful. And sometimes it just all has to do with the relationship you have with yourself. And I will elaborate a little bit more on that in a bit. And switching gears from liking certain people and identifying with them, there's a reason why you dislike certain people. You see one of two things. One being that they have the traits that you don't like about yourself, your insecurities, or those traits that you might even be trying to work on. Or the other reason why you dislike certain people is you disidentify with those traits. It's not you and it never will be. That being said, if something or someone angers you, pretty much it's what you aren't accepting or healing just yet. And it is in some way an unconscious part of you. So You don't even realize it sometimes. And now we're going to talk about the fun stuff. We're going to talk about breakups. Okay, I know I joke about breakups being fun. They're obviously not. They're obviously the most gut-wrenching feeling ever. If you were in love with that person or had a really long relationship with them where they were like integrated in your family, knew all your friends, you spent every waking moment and sleeping moment with this person, then you already know that when you lose that person, oh my gosh, you don't feel it just in your emotions and your mind. You feel it physically to where like you feel like your heart just got ripped out and it's just like sank to your asshole. Or you just like can't eat or sleep or want to do anything. Like you just go into this whole like sad, depressive state. Feeling that way is horrible. It's also because it feels like not only did you lose that person, but you lost all the memories and the comforting feelings that that person provided you. So let's say that person gave you the feelings of security, feeling heard, laughter, all those things. But all those feelings didn't come out of nowhere. You already have those things within yourself, if you think about it. It was simply just drastically amplified with that person. They brought out a side of you that was there, but it wasn't sparked as much as it was until this person entered your life. Every relationship simply pulls out these things that were already there and what is a reflection of you. These feelings and this goofy or quirky side of you didn't just randomly come out of a black hole of nothing. You can say, oh my God, he made me feel like I was so funny. People never laugh at my jokes. But bruh, you are funny. It's not that person. It's not your partner that made you funny. Maybe he helped you be funnier because you were bouncing off each other's energies, but you were already funny to begin with. Give yourself credit here, boo-boo. But when you lose a person, that amplification drastically lessens, which makes you feel like you lost yourself. Those feelings don't feel as intense anymore. Those feelings that you had with that person, the whole comfort, the confidence, the security, that doesn't feel as intense because the amplification lessened. But you can provide all those things to yourself because like I've been saying, it's already there. It's been there. Trust yourself. Bring security to yourself. Make yourself laugh. I know I do. Man, if y'all saw and heard the things I say and do in my alone time, oh my God, you would think I'm freaking crazy. I spend so much time in my car driving by myself. I straight up will be talking to myself and I'll be like singing, rapping along with the lyrics, and I fuck up and I start laughing and talking to myself. And I swear when I'm at a red light, I just don't look, but I'm going to assume that people stare at me and think I'm some psycho. But what about it? I'm having fun and that's all that matters. Anyway, if you put a lot of energy into them, taking care of them, listening to them, all that stuff, just redirect it. Put that energy into yourself. Realize that this is all internal. You don't need external validation. Just because you lost them does not mean you lost you. Remember that. Just because you lost somebody doesn't mean you lost yourself. You are still there and you've been there since the day you were born. And more people do this than they should. It seems to be a very common thing. I'm guilty of this. That is, sometimes we choose to chase people who don't want us. They don't love or appreciate us, or we believe that they're out of our league, that they're better than us or whatever it may be, but we feel the need to chase them. We feel some connection, whether it's actually there or not, because when they're actually no longer there, when we're done chasing that person, we're stuck with that empty feeling that we're now forced to heal. We put ourselves in that process of learning to love ourselves and finding pieces that we now realize are there because that person illuminated that hidden part of us. Not to discredit any of the other types of heartbreaks or pains, but I feel like sometimes this type of relationship, or not even a relationship if you weren't dating them, but this type of like heartbreak can hurt pretty badly. But this is also one of those where it's like, oh, what? I let that person break my heart. They didn't even want me. Like, are you kidding me? That's so embarrassing. So you learn, hopefully, not to let it happen again. Sometimes it takes a few of these Chads or Brads to break your heart. You learn from these types of situations. You learn from these breakups. This type of heartbreak with relationships, even platonic ones too, just any fallout where you're no longer in contact with a person and they're no longer in your life, they're all essential. They're all necessary stepping stones, or even sometimes fucking boulders. Being that they all are stepping stones, it's also not coincidental that certain people come into your life. I believe there's a purpose for people meeting you and being in your life and leaving your life. I believe that people come into your life to benefit you. I mean that in a way such as they serve a specific purpose in your life. You have lifelong friendships and short-term friendships that all come in for a specific reason. To provide that security in that moment of healing, to teach you how to love yourself, to teach you what pain feels like, so that someone else can come in and teach you what happiness should feel like. People always come at the right time, exactly when they're supposed to. I think we're all connected in some way. For those of you who are religious, why do you think they always say brothers and sisters? Or those who are spiritual, why do you think we have these soulmates or twin flames? They're all little pieces coming into a puzzle to help complete you. Help is the key word here. Help complete you at that time and are in some way a reflection of you. You're going through some growth at that time, for example, and the right person who's going through the same thing just so happens to walk into your life and you guys are just there to support each other. People who come into your life don't come in by accident. In my last episode, I mentioned how I was going through my yoga teacher training in order to get my certification, which I still am. But a few weeks ago, when I was just going to the kitchen to eat dinner with my parents, they had one of their friends over who so happened to be in a very spiritual family and who has a son who has a girlfriend who's also doing her yoga teacher training and also has been teaching people and knows so many people who went through the same thing I am and now are thriving doing that and living their life. She sent me all those connections and I was able to network with all them. And I was like, wow, like who would have thought I was just going to go eat dinner one night and now I have a broad network of connections. Like, I literally cried out of happiness. I'm also just a very sensitive, emotional person. I cry so easily, whether it has to do with actually being sad or being really happy or because two people fell in love and I'm just so happy because I love love. I'm so emotional. But I was just like, wow, what are the odds? But it's not even the odds. It's just, it happened because it was supposed to. And I was so freaking grateful. I'm still grateful for it. Where I was going with all of this is that people just don't come into your life by accident. They help you and teach you with support and care or inspiration. Nobody heals you or erases a certain part of you. You do all that internal work yourself. Thanks to them, it does help that they were in your life, but it wasn't anyone who did it for you. Other people shouldn't be the reason you feel complete. They shouldn't be the indicator either of whether or not you're worthy to love or be loved. It all starts with you. It all starts internally. Most of your problems you have stem from problems within you. Ugh, that might offend some people. That might hurt. That might be a stab to the heart. But think about it. You're probably starting issues that weren't there. And I'm not going to act like I'm perfect and just because I'm saying this stuff that I don't do this. I'm human. I 100% do this. Moving to a different state, moving to a different city or a different country doesn't always fix the internal problems. It'll follow because the internal always is projected into the external. I elaborate that a little bit in my last episode if you want to listen to that if you haven't already. Anyway, if you want the perfect partner, someone who checks off all the boxes on your perfect partner checklist, you got to become that person first. How do you expect to have a partner to do every single thing for you if you can't even do it yourself? Become the best version of yourself. Become that person you want to have in your life and watch who comes in during that process. If you want, I think you should, but I don't control you. You're a grown person. But I say grab a pen and a paper or in your notes on your phone. Write down that person you want in your life. The perfect person. So someone who cooks, someone who dresses nice, someone who works out, someone who wakes up early, blah, 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 all that stuff. And just start becoming that person. You don't have to do all of this stuff at once because that will be overwhelming and will burn you out. But just slowly but surely start becoming that person. And I guarantee you, you will see it all fall into your lap because you put in the work. This helps to attract the most influential friends as well. And when you see these certain people come into your life, you'll realize that surrounding yourself with certain people who make you feel comfortable as yourself sparks inspiration. Whereas surrounding yourself with superficial people will make you more insecure and uncomfortable with who you're with and who you're becoming. We naturally mirror those around us. Think about it. Have you ever, yeah, you have, walked side by side with somebody anywhere, just through a hall, on the sidewalk, and you realize you're both walking at the same pace. You're walking, sometimes you might be walking on the same foot, but your guys' legs are synced up with each other. You're at the same pace because our brains unconsciously do that. Or sometimes if you're like cuddling with someone too, I don't know if it's your heartbeats or your breaths, but something syncs up and then it's like, in a way, you kind of become one. It's kind of cool. But you've also seen this. When you hang out with a friend a lot, you start morphing into them and then it's all scary and it feels all like this voodoo magic looking thing because you get scared that you become the same person. Like you're like, oh my God, why are we so alike? But it's like, okay, you've been spending so much time with each other, you know? But now I want to talk about how the relationship with yourself is shown in the relationship you have with others. So here are some examples. This list can go on forever because there's so many little details, but here's just a few. So first off is self-esteem and respect. If you're confident in yourself and you have self-respect, you're more likely to set and maintain boundaries with others. You don't let people walk all over you and take advantage of your niceness and people pleasing. Not only will you expect respect from others, but you'll also know how to give it, treating others with respect. It's a two-way street that both people play a part in. The next example is communication. How do you talk to yourself? This, as well as your self-awareness, play a huge part in how you communicate to others. Whether that be your needs and feelings to close people or friendliness with strangers, the more confident your internal dialogue is, the more genuine and open you are with your communication. If it's more self-doubting, then the more hesitant and closed off you are with communication. You can feel the energetic shift in the words you use too. One of my friends sent me a TikTok a while ago. Here we go with the TikToks. But someone was saying you can literally feel the energetic shift and it goes into your subconscious too. I wish I could remember the name of the TikTok or the name of the person who made this TikTok because I want to give her credit. But it was so long ago, like I don't think I'll be able to find it. But she was basically saying, if you literally say out loud, I feel like shit or I feel stupid, you can literally feel the negative weight pressed down on your body. But when you say, I'm so happy, I'm so grateful, I love who I am, you feel the lightness in your body. And the way you talk to yourself, that going into your subconscious kind of pushes itself out into how you carry yourself throughout your day. And then the next example is empathy and compassion. The more in tune you are with your emotions and what grinds your gears or what makes you sad, any of those feelings, the more you are able to empathetically connect with others and truly trust where they're coming from. And the last one I have is trust. The more you trust yourself and the more you feel good about the decisions you make in your life, the more trust you have in others. If you don't trust yourself, you're probably more cautious with others while questioning their intentions. I've definitely been trying to work on trusting myself and being able to listen to what my body's telling me, because I have gaslit myself way too many times, and that was so anxiety provoking. I've been in relationships where I knew in my heart and my soul, just my whole entire being was telling me, you don't want to be with this person. And it was just giving me so much anxiety. But I was like, oh, what? No, you know what? It's probably just you not being able to trust people, you not being able to love people, like you're incapable of it. And just the self-talk was so negative because I just wasn't listening to myself. I wasn't trusting myself. It wasn't that I was an anxious person. It was just that I was putting that anxiety onto myself. All I had to do was just listen to myself, trust myself. But I'm working on that now. I'm trusting my inner child because she's important too. All right, guys, this whole entire episode in a nutshell. Nobody makes you something or someone. It's already inside of you. It's just amplified. What angers you probably is what isn't healed or accepted just yet. And what brings joy is something that already is within you. The people you attract are manifestations or pieces of yourself. Plant your seeds within and wait till they blossom in the world around you. I got that quote from somewhere. I put it in my notes. I got it from a book. And I've read too many books and I feel bad because I'm not giving credit. I'm so sorry. I learned this shit in school. I'm supposed to always give credit. I learned APA and I learned, what's the other thing? MLA format. I know I'm supposed to be giving credit. I'm sorry to all my teachers out there. I'm failing you. But plant your seeds within and wait till they blossom in the world around you. I really like that quote. All the external experiences and the friendships or relationships start internally, reflecting the relationship with yourself. I personally like to do a lot of reflecting. As crazy as it sounds, I told y'all, I talk to myself out loud. But don't knock it till you try it. Not only does it rationalize and organize my thoughts, but it makes me feel more present with myself. Kind of feel like I'm bonding with myself in a way. I've spent a lot of these past few months spending time with myself and getting to know me more. Highly, highly recommend. It's fun. I'm becoming my own bestie. I also recommend journaling. I've been doing that for years now, but I'm going to throw that in there because maybe it can inspire you. I've implemented it into my morning routine and my night routine, as well as meditating, whether that be sitting and just affirming stuff to myself or a guided meditation on YouTube, and I listen to it and it's so peaceful and calming. It literally just changes the energy and sets the tone for the day. It's great. It's a great way to start your day. It's a great way to be present with yourself. And through all this type of stuff, I definitely don't feel as dependent towards my friends anymore. But of course, I still am always grateful for all the people in my life, but I don't feel the need to have them make me feel better about myself. If there's a takeaway I want you to gain from this episode, here's a question for you. How can you strengthen the relationship you have with yourself? This may be showing yourself more care, more love, more attention. Maybe try dedicating at least 5 minutes of self-care and remind yourself that you're proud and grateful for your body. Watch how you feel the presence in your body switch so quickly. That being said, you guys, this is the end of the episode. If you made it this far, I appreciate you and I'm so grateful for you. You're a real one. Shout out to you. And I do plan on posting every other Tuesday. So in 2 Tuesdays after this one's out, expect another one. I promise I'm going to be way more consistent. And at that point, it's for myself. I just want to challenge myself and be consistent and just to have that discipline. But yeah, so in 2 Tuesdays, I hope we can hang out again. And I hope you're enjoying yourself and you're living life as you should. And remember that life is not that serious. All right, bye.